And The Flash. The tour for The Flash, the press tour. It's happening. Michael Shannon, who of course played General Zod and did an impeccable job at that, addresses The Flash co-star Ezra Miller. Says, I feel for them. Interesting. I mean, look, at the end of the day, he has to choose his words very carefully right now. They're doing a press tour. He'll have a back-end deal on this movie where he'll obviously generate some income if it, hits certain numbers. So he does have to be careful with what he says. And yeah, some of this is just placating. It's just nonsense. And it's a shame as well, because it again, I understand it's the business. They have to be careful. But it really does downplay what Ezra Miller has done. And, make no mistake, every single actor on this production has been told, you need to be very careful with what you say, because this guy has done some, pretty shocking things. So be prepared for the questions, essentially. And, it's interesting. It is interesting. And I always thought, side note, before we dive into this, I always thought that it's a real shame they killed off General Zod, spoiler alert for Man of Steel, in the first movie, because he's such a great actor. Michael Shannon's such a great actor, and his General Zod was great. The conviction he put in there was just absolutely incredible. And Michael Shannon, he needs to be in more things. He is such a good actor. I remember him in The Iceman, I think it was, where he played a hitman. That was great. That was absolutely amazing. And yeah, he does villains so very well. So very well. So anyway, let's take a look at this. Hollywood placating. Just a big circle jerk of nonsense, really. Anyway, hit subscribe if you're new here, guys. Michael Shannon is sharing his thoughts about his The Flash co-star Ezra Miller in light of the performer having previously made headlines for arrests and controversial behaviour. I mean, that's an understatement, isn't it? Controversial behaviour. I mean, he's been accused of grooming 12-year-olds. That's just controversial behaviour. There's a video of him choking a woman out. Oh, just a bit controversial. I mean, he had to appear in court in Hawaii because he burst into a couple's room and threatened to bury them. He also stole their wallet. Just some slight controversial behaviour. Oh, yeah, he also videoed himself, said he was going to kill the KKK or something like that. Oh, just some controversial behaviour. Just some mildly controversial behaviour. What else did he do? I think he's wanted in Germany, if I remember rightly. For he also had a warrant out for his arrest as well, I think, because Takata Ionize's parents wanted custody of their child back, but it was like a reservation court, and it's just it's an absolute shit show. This whole thing is just a joke. Oh, he also had a felony charge for breaking and entering to a neighbour's house and stealing alcohol. Yeah. Oh, and there was also the expose of detailing how a 1 or 2 year old has bullet casings in their mouth around his house and property. I mean, this guy's just a joke. Just some slightly controversial behaviour. But anyway, during a recent Vanity Fair interview, Michael Shannon... Do you see why he has to be really careful? Michael Shannon discussed reprising his role as DC's villainous General Zod for filmmaker Andy Muschietti, Warner Brothers feature that hits theatres June 16th. Following his turn as Zod in Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice, Shannon spoke about his time spent on The Flash's set with Miller, who was arrested multiple times last year. In fact, actually, at the time, this is the real hilarious part, and I love bringing this up, and it's true, at the time, in Hawaii, you had a greater chance of being assaulted by Ezra Miller than you did by being bitten by a shark. Let that sink in. Just let that sink in, guys. Anyway, when asked about the noise, just some slight noise, surrounding the upcoming Flash release, Shannon replied, "If you're talking about Ezra Miller, I thought Ezra was lovely. Very kind to me when I was there. It's difficult to talk about, but I always give people a lot of slack in this business, because there's a lot of people in this business that have issues, and some people have more privacy than others. I mean, I mean, look, at least he's being honest. There are loads of people who've got issues in this business, but you can kind of see what I'm saying, right? Like, it's just, anyway. So he continued, anytime somebody is out in the spotlight getting picked on, I feel for them. Even if it's warranted, it's still a horrible situation. I mean, he's right, you know, but it's not, if it's warranted, are you really being picked on? You know? I don't know. It's an interesting discussion. Are you being picked on if it's warranted? And also, are you being picked on if merely all that's being stated is the truth? Hey, Ezra Miller did this, this, and this. Don't pick on him. But it's the truth. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, so he said this. Shannon noted that before he accepted the Flash gig, he touched base with Zack Snyder, obviously Man of Steel, Dawn of Justice, who gave his blessing for Shannon to revisit the character. Shannon also explained that he spent far less time shooting the Flash than he did for previous superhero projects, which I think is an interesting discussion there. Like, why was this movie so... Why did they not need him that much? What's the deal there? You know, what's the situation? Flash, I was in and out of there in a couple of weeks, he said. But I hear there's been some... I've got to admit, I'm not looking at the trades every morning, keeping my finger on the pulse of things, but I know there's been some issues. It seems like they're ready to let it out. Oh, God bless him. Michael Shannon's great. Just super honest. Super honest, but definitely downplays Ezra Miller's part in everything. He's been picked on. Oh, it's unwarranted. You know, even if it is warranted. Oh, you know, he's got issues. Privacy than others. Well, I mean, you kind of remove your own privacy or right to privacy when you're being arrested for things, for goodness sake. Like, you're putting yourself in the limelight at that point, aren't you? Like, there's an issue there. You know, you're creating a problem quite literally just for yourself. It's a problem of your own making. Like, there's a limit to where my sympathy sort of extends to at a certain point. But I love it that he's just like, yeah, I was in and out of there super quick. Is that a good thing? Is that a sign of quality? I don't know. I mean, he knows the character now, so I guess there's that. But I do think that's interesting that he was super quick, in and out, just a couple of weeks, did his thing. But I mean, he's not the main part of the movie, which, you know, does matter. But there you go, and then the Hollywood Reporter downplays it as well, because they're like, oh, you know, The Flash's release was delayed by COVID, and has been the subject of scrutiny surrounding its star's personal issues. Well, it wasn't just that, there was pretty epic reshoots going on as well, and they didn't really know whether they'd release this movie, or they'd have to sort of reshoot it and sort of re-edit out Ezra Miller. It was just an absolute joke. But I think this movie... There seems to be a lot of buzz for this movie. I think this movie will actually do well. I don't know whether it will make money, because the rumoured budget definitely isn't the budget, because it has been delayed so much, and there's always interest on those things. So, yeah. I don't know if it will make money, but I think it will make a lot of money in terms of, like, box office total will look good, because there seems to be a lot of interest in it, which I think is surprising, because superhero movies seem to be waning a little bit. But yeah, a lot of hype for this film, But Michael Shannon, ever the legend. What do you guys think? Definitely a shame he's downplaying Ezra Miller, but I get it. He has to. I get it. I understand, but it's still a shame. Let me know what you think down below. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Take care.